Hey, it's Mikey. We are kite surfing in Long Beach today. Oh, what an amazing day. It was awesome. We had a cool little wind event and got out there and there was almost hardly anyone there. It was awesome. I was on the 14-meter Cabrinha Switchblade, and I have my 6.2 GB board here, surfboard, going strapless. And we're about a year out from my bilateral knee surgery, and yeah, we're just trying to straighten up some of my lines here and get ready to go. And I also took out the LiteWave DV8 surfboard as well a little bit later, and it worked out pretty good. So just kind of do the trick here and get my legs up on the board and dive. Yeah, it was a really nice day. The waters were super clean after the rain still, even really clean. I didn't see really any debris in the water, so that was really nice. And it was working really well. The winds were about, I don't know, 17 to 20-ish, but they were really nice. Not so much wind by the shore, more wind out past the blue line. So you don't see a lot of white caps or anything like that, but it was blowing pretty good. It's kind of a side shore Santa Ana kind of an event. Here's a little beach cam footage, but it was working out pretty well. As you can see, there's like nobody out there. It's a Sunday, and there's wind. If I'm kiting, there's definitely wind. So a few little beach goers, and that's pretty much it. Having a great time. I got the new GoPro Hero11, and I'm trying to figure out all the settings in the cameras. The helmet cam has a horizon lock, which was really cool, but I didn't get my kite cam to do that, so there's a lot of weird angles I was trying to do with editing the video, but it is what it is. So if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe, smash that like button if you like the video, and you know, stick around for the ride. You know, just learn how to kite surf, and you know, I'm doing a lot better. I'm actually getting a lot better for myself, and my transitions are working really well. You can see a transition here, down loop bottom turn, and make the transition. Now it's switch the feet time. So switch the feet's not so pretty, but I did it almost every time today, and it was great. I got the new helmet on. Yeah, it was all the cool forward whip helmet, and I also got a pair of forward whip goggles. Those things are great. It's amazing, especially in the wintertime when the sun's going down and you have that glare on the water, and those Polaroid lenses are, oh my gosh, I never actually kited with glasses on before, and that was awesome. I could actually see where I was going, and it was a lot of fun. So making the transition back the other way, and make the transition. Like I said, not super pretty, but hey, I stayed dry for most part of the day, and that was that's unusual. I think I crashed a couple times. I'm sure you'll see that here in the video. But zipping along and having some fun, that's for sure. Down loop bottom turn, and getting ready to switch my feet, and trying to figure out where I want to spin the bar back to normal. And I spun the bar and I grabbed it backwards on the bottom part, and that could end up bad. So, but everything worked out okay. So another little beach cam footage. It's the turn. It's a down loop. Carve and turn. And like I said, there's hardly anybody out today. It's awesome. So I don't know where everybody kites at during the wintertime. It's a little chilly in most places, but you know, put some comments down below. Let me know where you guys are going, and maybe tag up and, you know, hit some adventures. I don't know, anywhere local here in Southern California, or maybe even tell me about San Diego, like maybe some offshore winds or something like that. That would be kind of cool. We'll find out some cool spots there. So once again, nice little transition with a face plant. So not so nice. Quickly body drag back to the board and up and riding again. Yeah, the winds weren't super strong, but there was a, just kind of a nice little unexpected wind event, I would call it. Not really forecasted, and as you can tell, because there's nobody at the beach, because if there was wind forecasted, people would be there. So I was taking the chance, and it actually picked up about an hour after I got there, so it did pretty good. So got my butt back to the beach, and I'm going to go pick up the LiteWave DV8 board. And this thing is a really different board, that's for sure. Grab a drink of water, and yeah, I kited for about an hour and a half today, and non-stop with just a quick water break in between. So I'm going to grab the DV8. I got this thing used, and it's in pretty good condition. I just sanded down the bottom and repainted it. And yeah, I'm going to get another new set of fins for it as well, just to have spare. But this is more like a regular twin tip board. It's like a wood-based board with raised sides for a nice grip, and a full deck with foam deck that is just anti-slip deck. But you can see how low it sits in the water. It just kind of like goes underwater. It's almost like a bathtub, but it's flat, and it displaces a lot of water as you're going. So how you're just like a twin tip. It's kind of almost underwater when you're moving around. So that was kind of weird. But I was like, as soon as I get my feet up, is it going to sink? But it stayed floating just enough, so that was good. But once you give it a little speed, yeah, it moved out. And I was able to get upwind pretty good. It was different foot settings, and I was having a hard time because I got new booties and trying to slide my feet around on this deck. It was a really sticky deck, we'll call it. Yeah, it had really good traction, so it was hard to move my feet around, and just the way the board is, and it rode really flat, so different than the surfboard. So it was pretty cool. But as you can see, we're moving along here. This is the first time I was on the board, and yeah, no problems at all. It did get a little, if you go slow, get a little nose heavy, and kind of go try to dive underwater. So trying to keep my foot back as best I could. But it was just hard to move my feet because they were stuck to the board. I don't know why. It was just crazy. So a little bit different than the other board. And what it does do good is you can sink the tail real easy and spin that board around on a dime. So some of the transitions were like, I'm not going to transition, and I just sunk back in the water, and the board spun around, and I'm like, hey, I guess I'm going the other way. And that worked out really well. So we're getting out here to the transition line over here, and I'm starting to wiggle my feet together, and you can see kind of the little dancing move here. And I almost crashed, but made it turned around, and I was happy with that. A little crazy, but so yeah, I'm glad you sticking around for my kiteboard adventures. It's a lot of fun. If you haven't been to Long Beach before and taken lessons, there's a few places down here you can do that. So make sure you take advantage of that and come enjoy the Stoke for sure. So we're gonna do a first transition on the DV8. And I'm like, do I want to transition? Yeah, I'm just going to go overhead. And then I just sunk the back of the board. It turned around, and I'm like, hey, let's go the other way. So I dove the kite and took off. And now it's time to switch the feet. And I was able to do that. And, man, I was moving. So didn't spend a lot of time on the board. Probably about 3 or 4 tacks back and forth. And then, but it had plenty of speed. I was doing about 20 miles an hour. I got my little GPS watch going now, and it's yeah, so it was good. And 20 miles an hour on the water seemed to be pretty fast for me, especially on the surfboard. So making it back out to the transition spot here, and struggling a little bit because it's sinking, but it still makes the transition. So I'm pretty happy with the little board. It's it's a different ride. It's a different feel. Everybody says you can do a bunch of different style, we'll call it tricks on it. Some rail grabs and a couple of things. So I'd like to try a jump transition one of these days if I ever get enough guts. But down loop bottom turn here again on the other side, and wiggle the feet and transition, and there we go. Made the transition and a bar spin, and hey, this stuff's working. So that helps when there's not a lot of people around and you don't have to worry about traffic. So it helps to go on some, you know, off days, and the water wasn't really that cold at all. So I was wearing a 2-3 face plant. So that was just I just got a little too forward on the board and I went flying forward and face planted. But yeah, it's weird. The board, it's very, very low to the water. Like the water just kind of goes right over the board, but it floats okay. It's interesting. And a very flat bottom. But I think that helps displace the water and get you up planing really quick. And it had good upwind ability, that's for sure. I didn't do too bad. Especially on a different board than I'm not used to. And I like this board here because some of the other DV8s I saw had kind of a raised center where the grommets went in for the foot straps, and this one has a nice flat one. So that's good. It doesn't, you know, bulge into my feet, we call it. So that's a little bit different. So I'm going to take this back and go grab my other surfboard again and finish out the day. So once again, if you have any comments, make sure you do those. Leave those comments down below. Smash that like button and hit that subscribe and bell notifications. Follow my kitesurfing adventures. You can go check out my website, mykitesurfingadventures.com. I'm going to try to post some more of these videos on there and stuff like that. So we had some wingers out there. I think Joseph was out there winging, and a couple other people were out there, and yeah, it was fun. I wanted to try to get to Lake Mojave before it gets a little too cold. Looks like some north winds are coming down, but the weather's a little chilly. And this board was so much easier though when I went back to it. It was just floaty and just super easy to ride. So if you're new kite surfing, I started off in twin tips and really struggled until I got a surfboard, and then I just had so much more fun. So if you're heavy, I was 228 pounds this weekend, and 5'6", so just not, you know, kind of stuck got a little close to this guy, but I had no other choice, and it worked out pretty good. But yeah, just having so much fun. It's so addicting. You'll love it. A little kite cam perspective, and just, God, it was so much fun. So as soon as you get the camera settings all figured out, it's going to go a lot better. But I did a lot of transitions today, and when I say dry, pretty much the whole day. And I could see with those new goggles, those things were trick. I keep grabbing the bar upside down after I unspin it, but I don't want it to go too far, so I keep catching it with my hand. Yeah, the water was super clean and not too choppy. There was a few little swells coming through. I was able to kind of surf those back on the inside, going back the other direction. That was fun. Oh, that was a decent transition there. I think this is where I was trying to check my speed, and then I was like, man, I'm moving. I was doing like 20. Then I almost face planted because I was not paying attention to where I was going. Hard down loop bottom turn. And I'm just trying to figure out when I gotta spin the bar back. I just need enough speed to get the kite up to where I can spin it without crashing. And I had a little bit of traffic coming up here, so I want to make sure that I didn't run into this girl over here. And be able to keep my kite up high enough to where we didn't get tangled up. day. This is Mikey Mike. Once again, smash that like button. Leave those comments. Let me know what guys we're going kite surfing next. And hopefully we'll see you down at Belmont. Make sure you come by and say hi. And hopefully you're enjoying the videos. I love just getting back in the office and watching my session. It makes a little bit more sense, even after some of the face plants like that. But it's all part of it. So it's time to head back to the beach and yeah, kind of wrap up my day and head back to Lancaster and you know, a couple hour drive back home. So there's no excuse if you guys are close to, you know, the beach. Not even that close. Get on down. We always chase the wind, man. So, all right, guys. Peace.